Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 7 of my Let's Play series. Before y'all get too worried, I do have a little bit of a raspy voice today, so I apologize for that. But getting ready to check out some of the new things I wanted to build today. I did mention at the end of my last episode I'm probably going to put some of these diamonds to use and maybe get some buildcraft and maybe a little bit more equivalent exchange stuff going. So without further ado, why don't I get started with that by grabbing 9 diamonds, and it's time for a new equivalent exchange item. Let's grab our crafting book and check out what we've got. I want to go find this guy right here, the energy condenser. So the energy collector, as I showed you guys previously, will collect energy and turn it into fuel for us. And we've got a good amount of Mobius fuel starting to build up. Mobius fuel is going to be used to power some of the crazy and expensive items that we can make in the equivalent exchange mod, but it's also going to be used in the condenser. So why don't we get started building that guy? And as we just saw, I'm going to need some glass, some obsidian, and some smooth stone. I think I've already got the smooth stone, so let's grab myself some glass. I'm going to need a little bit more of that, it looks like. And, ooh, do I have any obsidian laying around? Maybe not. Oh no, I do. I have some in here. Perfect. So let's go build it. Remember, we need the blocks of diamond, so that's cool. Place that guy down there. Make sure to get your pattern correct. Hey, there we go, energy condenser. Sweet. The energy condenser is a pretty darn spiffy machine, if I do say so myself. Now, first off, I'm going to place it right next to my energy collector. And the cool thing is about this is the energy collector will help to power the energy condenser. And you see we've got this crazy interface going on here. What's an energy condenser do? Well, as you know, with equivalent exchange, we can convert items from one version to the next in our transmutation table here. So let's take, for example, cobblestone. Cobblestone's worth 4 EMC. And if I add 2 pieces of cobblestone together, I've got 8 EMC. And I could get a piece of wheat or a sapling, redstone, whatever you want, right? So let's say I wanted to grab, a third piece in there. And now that I have 12 EMC, because it's 4 each. Okay, let's grab this piece of wool. Why not? This piece of wool took all my EMC to create it. If I place it back in the table, you can see 12 EMC in there. Now what's cool about this is this fuel here has an EMC value as well. Let's check that out. I don't know if you can see it in the transmutation table or not, but let's try. Yes, you can. So it's got 256 EMC. So I can directly transform the Mobius fuel that I have here into items. If I wanted to, I could transform this Mobius fuel into, say, an iron ingot. And it used up a good amount of it. I can get another piece of iron. Cool. And let's get a pumpkin. Why not? So as you can see, iron is worth 96 EMC. And placing the pumpkin in there, we're back up to our 256 mark, and we can get back our Mobius fuel. So basically, every item in the game has been given this EMC value. And Mobius fuel is a fuel source, and I can use it to convert the energy in the EMC energy inside this Mobius fuel and upgrade items in a condenser. So this machine basically upgrades items for me. I can take a piece of cobblestone in there, for example. And you can see this little thing flashing a little bit, and it's moving slowly. That's because my energy collector is currently, has some energy applied, and it's giving some of the energy it has to the condenser to help it move. So I've taken the cobblestone out of there, and I just want to explain the interface to you. This set of blocks here is where you put the items that you want to get updated. So if you have cobblestone in here, it's cobblestone that's going to get upgraded. And as you can see, placing it in this item here gets it zipped right over into the open slot. So you can put a bunch of stacks of stuff in here, and they'll all get upgraded eventually. And they'll be output over here once they're done. Down here is where you put your fuel source, so that's where your Mobius fuel is going to go. If I place it in there, it's just going to zip right over, so you can put 4 stacks of Mobius in. So let's put our cobblestone in, and we'll watch it upgrade. Now the next step after cobblestone is iron. And you can see what it did is it immediately took the iron out of this output slot and dumped it right back in. So the condenser is just going to continuously upgrade your items pretty much in a straightforward fashion. It'll go to iron, then gold, then diamond, and then it'll upgrade to diamond blocks, and it's going to continuously use more and more Mobius fuel to upgrade further and further, and it's going to take more and more time as well. The condenser is also a bit more efficient than using the transmutation table, but of course it takes time to upgrade as opposed to the immediate response that the transmutation table gives you. So, takes more time, but is more efficient in terms of EMC value. So you can see we just hit gold, and now it's next going to upgrade to diamond. And you can see that's obviously taking a bit longer to do. And then it'll upgrade to a diamond block, which will take even longer, because that's going to be about as long as it would take to make 9 diamonds. So, obviously a bit of a time-consuming process, but that's alright. Now, I haven't explained this target block yet, so why don't I do that real quick. If you place an item in the target block, it'll automatically take whatever you've placed in here and turn it into that item, using whatever EMC value it needs to. So you can see it's quickly upgrading my stone here to wool, because wool's in the target block. I could target, I don't know, cooked pork chop, why not? Put some stone in there, and ta-da! Now the reason it's moving so instantly right now is because it has a bunch of stored energy in the condenser. I took this gold out before it was completely done. Oh right, I have to get my pork chop out of there. So you can see it kind of started the progress bar a little bit in the middle. So the nice thing about the condenser is, if you take an item out midway, it doesn't lose the EMC energy that it already started dumping into the item, and it's used for whatever other items you've got going on. Now, once it hits diamond block stage, it's going to move up into dark matter, which is a specific type of item Equivalent Exchange uses for some of its more advanced stuff. So for now, I'm just going to put, let's put a full stack of cobblestone in there. Why not? And I'll let this guy upgrade, and we'll come back to it in a little bit to check on it. Now, some people have stated, hey, isn't this kind of cheating? You're basically making diamonds out of nothing. Well, no. It takes a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of resources to convert these gold into diamonds. And everything is pretty well balanced in terms of the math. So, I've seen some people post that Equivalent Exchange is just like using TMI. I think that is completely false. And I feel like, the people who think Equivalent Exchange is cheating probably haven't really played with it much. Yes, it is a good way to get diamonds, I won't deny that, but it does require time, resources, and it kind of gives you an end game goal. So you can see we just upgraded to the diamond stage, and now my diamond is going to work its way up to a diamond block. And believe me when I tell you that's going to take a while. And it's probably a good idea at this point to refill my condenser, because as you can see, I'm out of fuel. Now you can even use sugarcane if you want, but I don't have a terribly large amount of that right now, so I'm just going to grab a couple stacks of redstone, which I do have a ton of. And I'm going to throw them in my collector here. And the nice thing is it'll just upgrade it straight up. And if I really wanted to, I could place Mobius fuel in my target slot, and instead of just going, all the way through the different cycles, it'll just jump straight from redstone to Mobius fuel. It'll of course take a lot longer to do that, but it's the same amount of time it would have taken to go through each individual stage. So, target block in the collector, awesome. So now that I've got a nice collector and condenser system going, the next thing I want to do is start working on some buildcraft stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and build another room right off here, and this is going to be my buildcraft room. You can tell probably the reason I'm doing that is because it's right next to the oil spawn here. Typically I'd have to go look for an oil spawn, but because I got so lucky and decided to build my house right next to one, I don't need to use teleport pipes to get the oil into my base, so that'll be kind of cool. So right now I'm going to real quick build this house. I'm just going to build another room here, and that'll be that. I'll be back when it's done. I'm not going to do the fast forward thing for this one. You know what? I think I'm going to actually show you guys me building this one, because I do want to show you how to build using the Philosopher's Stone. Remember I mentioned a while back that if you right click on the ground, it'll create a wall for you. So I'm going to put this guy in its lowest setting, and right click right here. And you can see it created a nice 3x3 wall. And if I change the mode by hitting G, creation mode places the block kind of right where you're looking. So when I click it here, it's going to create it just like so. But extension mode extends the block that you're currently working on with the 3x3, kind of using this as the center. So by clicking on this guy, I get one more wall section to the left. Pretty spiffy. Awesome. And I've got myself a wall here. So I can now kind of make this one slot higher. And I can switch it back to creative mode and build some walls here. Very cool. So once you have your Philosopher's Stone, you can use it to build some pretty nice walls and really get a good system going. And I could put it on creative mode here actually if I wanted to. Let's see. Yeah, see what happens when you try and do creative mode. Not at all what we wanted to happen, right? And keep in mind, your Philosopher's Stone is going to by default use whatever you have the most of in your inventory. And I think it'll use it up and then move on to the next item. So back to extension mode for me. Looking sharp. Great way to build these rooms. And then I can just take out some of my smooth stone and do this with it. So far, so good. Now I'm also going to want to put that guy there like that. Very nice looking. And what I can also do is if I clear this whole area out like so, and keep in mind that if you charge up your Philosopher's Stone to a higher level, it's going to be able to build more blocks in one click. I was just keeping it the smallest level, the 3x3, just for the simplicity's sake. So back to creation mode here. It does work on the floor. Awesome. Extension. Extension. A great way to build. So I'm going to finish up the flooring in here, and then I'm going to start working on what I'll call my Buildcraft factory area. Should be pretty cool. Alright, creative mode again. Alright, I just want to take a quick look at it from the outside. I'm also going to get the ceiling sorted out, so I'll be back in just a moment to see how everything looks. Yeah, I missed a little section here on the outside, just to make it look good both inside and out. Nice. So, back inside. Oh, I can't wait to get my quantum armor set. And let's just get our roof system going real quick. I'll be back. Need a little bit of sand here to turn it into glass, and unfortunately, I don't have quite enough sand. I need 16 for that 4x4 roof section I got up there, right? So, let's charge this guy up. Activate the transmutation table with glass as a target. Nice. Perfect. Looking good to me. Plenty of glass. Good. Thank you, transmutation. Alright, so now I've got this nice little house set up, everything I want in it. Let's build what I'm going to use as a Buildcraft type factory. I'm going to need a couple things here. So why don't I kind of plan this out in my head, and I'll be back shortly. So all that time's gone by, we've used a good amount of Mobius fuel here, and you can see we've made a small amount of progress with diamonds upgrading to diamond blocks, but still a long way to go. And while we're waiting for that, I think I'm going to need a bit more glass. Quite a bit more, as a matter of fact. So why don't I throw some dirt in there with glass as my target. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to need a little bit more. How about 1 Mobius fuel? Convert that into as much glass as I can get. That's a lot. You can shift-click in the transmutation table, but right now it looks like equivalent exchange and convenient inventory don't get along too well, so it prevents the whole... I wonder if I can alt-click. Ooh, alt-click worked. That's good. Alright, alt-click to get your items out of the transmutation table all in one shot. Nice. So now I've got a good amount of glass. I'm going to need to store this oil in something. And in Buildcraft, you store your oil in tanks. And a tank is a pretty simple recipe. It's just a square of glass. So I'm going to get my 8 tanks like so. Ta-da! And I can place my tanks in my room. Now, I do need to think a little bit about how exactly I want this to look. So I'm thinking something along these lines, where I've got one here, and then one here and one here. And that'll be for water, lava, oil, and fuel, at least for now. I might need to expand this a little bit at some point, so let me think in my head real quick, and I'll come back on camera once I have a better plan. So I'm just going to get myself a bit more glass, and make myself some more tanks. Because while I won't necessarily be using them all just yet, that's fine. I kind of want to have my room laid out the way it's going to be. So that looks pretty cool. And I'll probably wind up having my engine somewhere in here, maybe along this wall. And, you know, we'll figure it out as we go along. Alright, I've decided to tweak this a little bit. I'm just going to go with 3 tanks right now, and I've placed them along this side of the wall. I might expand that later, but for now I'm just going to go dump this into my chest here. I do need to start working on some alchemical chests. I hate regular chests. I get so spoiled by all these mod items. So I'll have like a water, oil, and fuel tankage here. That sounds good. So the next thing I need to do is build some energy-producing machines. And for that, I'm going to use combustion engines. And in order to build some combustion engines, first I'm going to need some iron and some redstone. You and you, got some wood, so that's good. So, first off, I need to build I'm building 4 wooden gears here. And these are items used in Buildcraft as one of the components, and you saw how I just made it. And I upgrade them to stone gears like so. And then I need to upgrade them to iron gears like this. Cool. So now I've got some iron gears. I also need, I'm going to say, for now I'm just going to go with 2, I think. And I reverse that. Pistons. And I place my piston down with an iron gear on either side, a piece of glass in the middle on the top of it, and some iron bars along the top. And that'll get me a combustion engine. And actually I want to do this one more time. I personally like having 3 combustion engines at least to start off with. It's a nice round number. And of course my piston. Ta-da! 3 combustion engines. And I'm going to lay them along this wall, just for now. I may do this a little bit differently in the future, but for now I think this looks good. So these guys are in place and looking good. As you can see, the way it laid, it faced 1 up and 2 of these sideways. This blue slot here that's pointing upwards is basically where the energy is going to flow to. And because these guys detected there was a machine next to them, they automatically oriented to the left. But don't worry, I'll fix that shortly. In order to fix that, I'm going to need to build 1 more gear and upgrade that guy to a stone gear and shape iron ingots around it like so, and that gives me a wrench. Now, the wrench in Industrial Craft works on Industrial Craft machines, the wrench in Buildcraft works on Buildcraft machines. I don't think they'll work on each other yet, but hey, maybe someday in the future, who knows, right? And I'm going to need to build a couple other things here, but for now we're in good shape. So I'll be back in just a moment once I have a better design in my head of where I want to go next. So the next thing we need to do is build some pipes. And pipes are created like so. There's a bunch of different pipes, and if you're not too familiar with Buildcraft, I have a bunch of tutorials up on how pipes work. But for now I'm building wooden pipes, and I'm going to need 3 of them. Combined with 3 redstone will give me 3 wooden conductive pipes. This is how we get energy out of engines and transmit them along a pipe system. So I've placed them above my engines, and now I can use my wrench to reorient the engines back up to the wooden pipes. Perfect. And I'm going to need some gold pipes next, so why don't I grab myself some gold and work on that. And again, gold on either side, glass in the middle gives me a golden transport pipe. And I'm going to need 3 of these guys to have golden conductive pipes. Very nice, very nice. So those of you who aren't familiar with Buildcraft should know that basically Buildcraft machines require energy, and the way you produce energy is using these guys, the engines. And the engines, there's 3 different types of them: wooden, combustion, and steam-powered. And the wooden ones are the weakest, the steam-powered are middle tier and run off coal, and the combustion here are the highest tier, and they run off either oil, which is right out there, or fuel, which is a more refined version of oil. And the fuel version and the oil engine both need to be cooled off with water. So there's 2 things I need to do. One, I need to hook these guys up to something so that they're cooled off via water. And 2, I need to hook them up to a fuel source so that they can run. So I need to get this oil pumped out of the ground somehow. And the way to do that is to create a pump. Seems easy enough, right? So let's see, I think I have all the resources I need here. The first thing I need to do is build a mining well. And a mining well is a machine in Buildcraft, which I'll be honest with you guys, I don't often use too much directly. It basically would mine straight down to bedrock for you wherever you place it, and spit out the items it collects. It's a neat little item, but I usually skip that tier of machine in Buildcraft. But I do need to take it and use it elsewhere. So in order to build this guy, I need to do something like this. This is the mining well. Again, I'm not going to use it for its intended purpose, but I am going to use it as a recipe, because if I take a tank and place the mining well and the tank right there like that, I get the pump. And the pump is a way to, like it sounds, pump stuff out of the ground. I can pump up water, oil, lava, fuel, pretty much any liquid, and directly pump it into one of these tanks. And in order to pump liquids in Buildcraft, you need, you guessed it, more pipes. So I'm going to go ahead and create some cobblestone pipes. And to do that, works like that. So, cobblestone transport pipes, excellent. Now, the next component of a cobblestone transport pipe is I need this cactus here. And in fact, I need a bit more cactus than I have at the moment. Luckily, I have some transmutation available. Let's take some Mobius fuel and turn it into all the cactus I can. If I recall, cactus probably has a pretty low EMC value, so very neat. Like I said, this transmutation comes in handy, doesn't it? So, place your cactus in a induction furnace, for example, and that'll turn into cactus green. That's your green dye. It's used to dye wool and all this other stuff, but Buildcraft also uses it as pipe waterproofing, and it allows you to turn a normal item transport pipe into a waterproof pipe. But I don't think I can do it. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Place it in there by itself and it becomes pipe waterproofing. And then combine it with your transport pipe, and you've got your cobblestone waterproof pipe. So I just made 8 of those. Why don't I make just a few more, just to make sure I have enough. Ta-da! So, got my cobblestone waterproof pipe. And basically what I can do with this guy, let's decide that I want it to be the middle tank here. I'm probably going to go water in the left tank, oil in the middle, and fuel on the right. And it's probably a good idea for me to light up this room a little bit. Looks good to me. So basically what I need to do is run my waterproofing pipe like so. And you can see it'll connect to the back of this tank and allow this oil to get pumped up using my pump. Now there's only one more component that I have to build, and I'll do that in a moment. Let me make it daytime real quick. So let's get our pump system going here. And come to think of it, I might want to just extend this entire room around this oil well here. But maybe I'll do that in a little bit. For now, I'm just going to set up my pump and leave it as the outside area that it is. So let's do something like this. I'm just going to build out a little platform here with which to append my pump. Okay. So this looks like as good a place as any. And I'm going to build this one little bit higher than I normally would, just to demo for you guys who've never seen this mod before and don't know what's going on. if I place my pump above a water source, or oil or lava or whatever else, it's going to immediately detect that it's above some kind of source of liquid, and it's going to extend a little tube down like you can see. Once the tube has been extended down into the source block, as it is now, it's ready to start pumping. Of course, it needs somewhere to pump to, and that's where my cobblestone pipes come in. Let me see if I can get close enough to this guy with all this running oil going all over the place. I know. I misclicked. That's alright. Good enough. Perfect. So now I've got a way for the oil that gets pumped out of the ground to get into my tank. But there's one missing component. Remember, I said all the machines in Buildcraft, for the most part, require some form of energy. So in order to get this guy going, I'm going to need to power him. And for now, I'm going to go ahead and power him using a stone engine. Let's get that going. Believe it or not, I'm running a little bit low on cobblestone. So, the stone engines are steam engines. They basically run on coal. And I can produce it like this. I'm going to need one of these guys again. It's always a piston in the middle, and then the stone gears, because it's a stone engine, it would have been iron gears for an iron engine, and wooden gears for a wooden engine. Glass in the middle, and then again the same type of item on top, be it cobblestone, wood, or iron. There's my steam engine. Now this guy doesn't produce a terribly large amount of power, but it's alright for now. I'm going to go ahead and place him right up here. And the nice thing about these engines is they can be placed right next to the machine that they're going to be operating on. And I believe I can use Mobius fuel in the steam engine, because I believe it's coded to do so. But we're going to find out. Now, in order to turn this engine on, I need a redstone signal. So I'm just going to place down another little block here, get myself another stick, and a lever. And the engine starts pumping. Ta-da! And it did use Mobius fuel, which is awesome. And look, if you look in the pipe there, you can see some oil going through the pipe system. And we've already pumped out the first source block. Very nice. Progress, guys, look at that. Now, of course, that's not a bad way to do things, but what if we wanted to do it a little bit nicer? Let's do something a little spiffier now. And you can see we've already cleared out the first layer. And that guy's running deeper into the ground. So why don't do I have enough iron on me? Yeah, that looks like it's enough. I'm just going to do it right here. Why not? What am I making? Obviously nothing good because I forgot some ingredients. That's okay. I'm going to need another lever, and I'm going to need a redstone torch. This should be an easy one, guys. That's right, wireless redstone. Why put a lever all the way out there when I could have a lever nicely tucked inside my house? I'll put a transmitter inside and a receiver outside. Goodbye, Mr. Lever. Transceiver. There you go. Receiver down there. Let's make this frequency 1. Why not? I haven't used frequency 1 yet. And in my house here, let's call... I'm going to need some kind of control system. I'll figure something out a little bit better in the future. But for now, I'm just going to put this guy just like so. I can just put him right there, frequency 1. I know, not very aesthetically pleasing. Don't worry, I'll make this a little bit better in the future, I promise. Now I can flip this lever. It'll activate frequency 1, which will activate out here and start powering my steam engine. Now I've got a wireless way of turning this guy on. and the oil starts flowing in. Very cool. And we can start letting that guy fill up, which is exactly what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to let him fill for just a few minutes, and I'll be back shortly once I've got a sufficient supply of oil. And you can see this guy filling deeply into the ground. And like I said earlier, I might just extend this house a little bit and just make my buildcraft room a little bit longer and encompass this little oil spawn that I've got. And for those of you who don't know about oil spawns, if we were to dig into the ground here a little bit, we'd see that it opens up a bit, and once we go down there, there's a ton more oil to be found, like a real ton. So this oil spawn should last us for a good bit. And I'll let that pump up, seal my wall back up, and turn off the lever, as that's just enough oil for now. I don't need a ton. And I'll be back shortly. So I'm going to take a break from that buildcraft room for just a moment, and go outside and look for something that I think I know where there is some of it. If I jump into the water here, yep, my memory served me correctly. There is clay right outside my house here. Could I have gotten clay with equivalent exchange? Sure I could have, but hey, why not? Let's just go mine the stuff that we found out here. That should be more than enough clay. And while I'm outside, why don't I just go check on my farm area? Going pretty well. A couple people posted that I should put lily pads on top of the water here. That is a good idea, and I'll probably do that at some point. Plus a good amount of animals. Hey guys, let's head back to our house now and do something with this clay. Alright, back inside, we can cook this stuff up in our handy dandy induction furnace. Nice and quick, right? Gotta love it. Alright, so I don't like the way that that lever works, and I want to do something about it. So it's time for me to make a new item for you guys. Let's open this guy up and get ourselves some clay bricks. Ta-da! And along with those clay bricks, we're going to go ahead and make the alloy furnace. This is an item from Red Power 2, and why not? We'll place it right there. Perfect. Need some fuel, so I want to just put some coal in there. And the first item I want to make for you guys is going to be red alloy. Now, the way this furnace works, which is actually pretty neat, is it can accept and detect the number of items in the stack. So you'll watch the progress bar here, right? Red alloy is made with 3 redstone and 1 iron. If I place 1 redstone in there, nothing's happening. 2 in the stack, nothing's happening. 3 in the stack, okay, I'm sorry, it's 4. So 4 redstone and 1 iron. And you can see the stack progress starts moving along, the fire is burning, and we get the output here, which is the red alloy ingot. Sweet. So I want to make 2 more of those guys, because I'm going to make some red alloy wiring. And I'm going to need 3 alloy ingots to make that. This is actually the first time I've seen in any mod be that smart about how many items are in there and allow you to build or craft something by using a specific number in a stack like that. So pretty cool. So I'll pick this guy up and place him in my crafting table. 3 vertically. Gives me red alloy wire. Now if I head over to my wall here, remember I said I don't like the way this looks. So let's break it. See ya, buddy. And I'm just going to drop down here real fast and place this down on the ground like so. My transmitter I can place under the ground, or really wherever I want. Now red alloy wire, for those of you not familiar with Red Power or Red Power 2, simply acts like redstone, however it can be placed on walls. Pretty cool. And if I were to grab my lever here, you can see that it's now activating the redstone. I just requested a little bit of oil, maybe. Probably was not long enough to get a good pump, but you get the gist, right? Oh wait, this is still on frequency 0, which I'll leave for now, because that's fine. So, yeah, that's how this guy works. Probably activated my who knows what. So, that's the way red alloy wire works, and that's really neat. Now, that's all well and good, but it still doesn't look terribly nice, does it, guys? No, it does not. So let's see what we can do to resolve that. Just heading over to my red power chest, I'm going to grab a couple rubies. What is it? 2 or 3 that I need, I forget. But let's head over and also grab myself some iron. That should be good. And I'm going to show you guys a new item again, and this one is also from red power too. So in order to build this next nifty and cool item, I'm going to need the sticks listed like that, some iron ingots, and I'm just picking rubies for this, but you could use any red power item. And we get the ruby handsaw. Now there's actually a couple types of handsaws. You could go with an iron handsaw, which is cheaper, but it can't work on as many materials as a ruby handsaw can. And the ruby handsaw can't work on as many materials as the diamond handsaw can, the diamond handsaw being the best, can work on obsidian and a couple other things. But for now, we've got the ruby. But, silly me, has a full inventory, so maybe I should clean up my inventory before proceeding. I'll be right back. Alright, that's a little bit better. So I'm going to take my ruby handsaw out of the chest here, and I'm going to place it in the chest with a piece of stone. And by placing it on top of the stone, I can take one stone and turn it into 2 stone slabs. Those stone slabs can then be placed on the ground like so. Pretty neat looking. And of course I could take those and cut them slimmer into a stone panel. Stone panels look like this. And finally I can cut them down even slimmer into stone covers. Stone covers look like this. Woohoo! So let's go take our stone covers and place them like so. Ooh, you can't even tell the difference between a stone cover and a stone on the wall. And that's exactly how they're supposed to be used. They're basically used to cover up your redstone wiring. So let's place a stone cover right out here. Ta-da! So now I'm going to place my next cover down here like so, and I'll place a cover like this and like this. So the red alloy wire is behind the wall there, and I've got my lever, and I can place it right like that. And if I were to cut through this, and oh look, I'm out of juice in my diamond drill. I was wondering why it was taking longer to chop up blocks. So you can see from the side here the way this looks, and when I flip the lever, it's not working just yet. So the actual reason for that is because I probably want to line it up like this. Run the red wire down this side to the wireless redstone guy, place my lever like so, and then cover it up. There we go. Can hardly tell the difference. Now the only thing I do need to make sure I do is set my wireless redstone to frequency 1. And then if I flip my lever, everything should function beautifully. And from the inside and from the outside, you really can't tell the difference until a spider attacks you. See? Everything looks nice and clean and neat, but these are actually stone panels covering up my redstone wiring. Awesome. So, very aesthetically pleasing. Much better than the system I had a minute ago. And you can see the oil started filling up because I had the lever on. I'm going to turn it off now. Alright guys, I'll be back in a bit. Alright guys, so it feels like this episode's getting a little bit long, and it's a good wrapping up point. I've got my buildcraft room starting to take shape here. I've got a little bit of work to do, obviously, still, but, progress is being made. So I'm going to wrap up this episode now. Again, this has been episode 7. Hope you guys enjoyed checking it out, and stay tuned for episode 8, where I'll expand some of this and move on to some other neat, cool, crazy stuff. Alright guys, take it easy.